And it's time to make another list.
Yeah.
And make more people upset by leaving them off of
Yep.
it. We're going to running backs now. Before we start here, our top 6. We joke that there are 20 top 10 wide receivers. You make your list, and you say there are so many great ones, and you just can't fit them all in there. How many top 10 running backs are there currently in the NFL?
There's only 10.
Ooh.
Yep. But it's underwhelming. It's funny with it might be less than 10. Yeah, it's funny. There's 20 top 10 receivers. There's 5 top 10 running backs. I mean, it's just funny where it's gone in my lifetime, our lifetime.
Yep.
Just where it is right now. Because I feel like if you looked at, NFL running backs and rosters 20 years ago, 25 years ago, almost every team, you'd go, damn, they got him at running back. Damn, they got him. The running back was the best player on the team when I was growing up through the 80s, the 90s. Almost every team was orchestrated around the running back. Other than like Dan Marino or Dan Fouts and some of those guys, everybody else was going, we run the ball in first and second, and then we try to throw the ball in third.
If we have to.
Right. I mean, that's the way football was. And now it's running back by committee. Some of these guys we got on the list right here, they don't have many catches out of the backfield and all of that. But I don't think it's because they can't. I think it's because teams are trying to take wear and tear off. The salary cap hurt, running backs. That definitely. Running backs are sitting there going, wait, why the would I play running back when I can play receiver and see 3 contracts and not get killed, and I'll be able to still walk when I'm 55? So I think that's hurt it. And then the rules of the game, of course, have changed it. The rules in the early 2000s, that help the passing game, protecting the quarterback, all of that has led to an influx of passing teams and a passing way of life in the NFL that has devalued the running back. And really, I mean, it's going to take somebody really, really special to ever be like a top 15, top 20 running back in the draft anymore. It really is.
So we'll do our top 6, which may be the top 10. It may be the complete top 10 list in the NFL currently, our top 6. So 6 through 1, we both got a list.
I'm interested to
I don't
see
know
what
your
you got.
list.
I know.
You don't know my
I know.
list.
I know.
So let's start with your list, number 6.
I'm going to go with Christian McCaffrey at 6.
Whoa.
I am. Yeah, listen, I know his talent is greater than that. But, I mean, he's played 10 games in the last 2 years. I mean, the one thing that is kind of is important for the running back in the rankings is you got to play. So I can't put him any higher than that. His talent is really special. I know that. It is. I mean, he's amazing. And him and Alvin Kamara are in the conversation for the best dual threat running back in the game as far as catching the ball out of the backfield, running the ball between the tackles and all that. But durability is definitely a question with me. And I am a little bit more of the guy that I want the guy that can run between the tackles. You know that. We've talked about that before. So he's an awesome football player that can do everything. I will say this, going back and watching him last year too, still quick as hell, still awesome route runner. I do think he lost a gear in his straight ahead speed. I do. And he's a smaller guy, and I worry about him kind of wearing down slowly but surely here. And that's why he's number 6 for me right now.
The injuries pile up. All right, we'll continue that discussion with him here in a second because I have him as well. My number 6 could shock you. Ramondre Stevenson, the New England Patriots. So there's a lot of things here.
I like him. I like it, though.
He faced, and I look at the next-gen stats. You look at film. You see the art of it and the speed and everything. I try to do the science here.
Yeah.
With some of these guys. And so Stevenson faced 8 or more in the box 41% of the time.
I bet.
Last year, second most in the NFL.
Yeah.
He also had the second most
yards
broken
after contact
tackles per attempt in the NFL. And so that resulted in one more number to throw at you. The third most rush yards over expected. So it's like next-gen stats says, okay, the defender's here. We think you're going to get this many. Oh, you actually got that many. So that gives you 1+1 on the rush over expected.
Gotcha.
And so he was elite in all those categories. Stevenson's my number 6 running back.
I mean, I love that. I'm not ready to put him at 6 yet. But I'm loving that we're giving a guy that, to me, has the talent to be in this type of conversation when we do the list next year. He does. He's special. Like, I mean, there was definitely games last year I was like, would they stop giving the ball to Damian Harris and give the ball back to Ramondre Stevenson? I loved him coming out of college. He was in my top 5 coming out of OU. He didn't get the ball a ton there. But you're right. And, I think when he was in the game last year, everybody was just like, oh, they're going to run the ball and give it to him. They don't trust him in the pass game in New England yet, right, with all that type of stuff. And then you had Mac Jones, and they were kind of a running team, and they wanted to do that. But, man, he made some impressive runs. So I love that you put him there. That's awesome. I don't agree with that. I don't think he's in the 6 yet.
Yeah.
But he is the top 6 potential type of guy, no doubt about it.
To 5 for you.
Okay, to 5 for me is where I'm going to go Joe Mixon here. I'm going to go Joey Mix. I mean, one, out of the guys we're going to talk about on this list and everything here, Joe Mixon's been playing behind the worst offensive line. So that's the first thing I'm going to just tell people. Don't always look at his stats and his highlights. It's just not fair. It's not. And we know that offensive line was one of the poorer ones in football. So it's hard to have the greatest highlight film in the world. But, man, he can do everything. He's another guy that I think, they don't let him catch the ball just because they're trying to find some way to take a little wear and tear off his tires to justify, hey, we're paying this guy double-digit millions every year. We'd like him to last a little while. So that's the problem, but I think he's phenomenal in the pass game. He's way bigger than people realize. Joe Mixon is one of those guys, as anybody in NBC will tell you when they were in the Super Bowl last year in the pregame, when Joe Mixon walked on the field pregame, no pads, everybody that worked on our crew and that was like, damn, Joe Mixon's bigger than I thought. He's taller than you think. He's jacked. He's fast and can break it for 60, and he can run you over, and he can make people miss. He's got a little bit of everything to his football game. So for me, yes, he is one of the 5 best running backs in the game.
So why, as Pete noted to me before we did this podcast, why in the Super Bowl, when you need 1 yard,
I know
he's not on the field?
I get that. I don't know either. And again, I don't. I'm sure that's one Zach Taylor would like to, redo as well. First off, Perrine was their third. Perrine, excuse me. Perrine. He was their third down back. To what I'm saying. Again, we're going to get into some guys here where I go, they could be the third down back. It's just they're trying to not let them have to take on the blitzing linebacker and kill himself for this 45th play in a row or catch a ball over the middle and get his head knocked. It's just the way teams are trying to save these guys. So he's been their third down back. It was a 2-minute drive. They were kind of, up-tempo offense, and, they got stuck on the field with him. But I don't think it was like, hey, it's 3rd and 1, guys. Take Joe out. He's not good enough. Let's put Samaje Perine in. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That's where I think people are referring to sometimes, and I'm going to go, that's insane. That's not one down.
It does seem, though, and they do have a great receiving core.
Yeah.
Right? Now, you have the best wide receiver in the NFL, according to you, and Jamar Chase. You got Higgins there, too. It did seem like there were some games that Joe Mixon disappeared.
I agree. But I think it was, I think it was games where they realized we have no chance against running the football this week. I think that's where it is. So that's where it's hard sometimes. Don't pile on him that way. They're a little bit of a team that was all over the place and the way they run the ball. I don't disagree with you there. But it wasn't because of him, I guess is what I'm trying to say. They had major issues. We know that. I think that's going to change this year. They've improved their offensive line. I would think they're going to be better.
All right. I knew Joe Mixon would be on your list.
You knew that.
I knew you like Joe Mixon a lot.
I do.
You've been pumping him up for a while. Well-deserved success last year for him with that.
Doesn't sound like he's going to make your list.
He's not on my list, but I got another guy who I don't think is probably on your list.
Good.
We'll give some love to now.
I like that you're doing this. Look, you're becoming the new Robin Hood here of the podcast.
Exactly. I think it's well-deserved. And a little more projection, perhaps, with Stevenson, and maybe more with this guy, too. But I think you're going to say this guy also has the ability to be in the top 10.
Or is this Rashad Penny you're going with here?
It is not Rashad Penny, although I could have put him in there, but it just wasn't enough for Rashad Penny.
Okay.
It is Javonte Williams.
Oh, I was going to even have been my
Broncos.
next guess.
So I talked about Stevenson leading or second in the NFL in broken tackles per attempt. He didn't have as many attempts. Javonte Williams led the NFL in broken tackles.
Yeah, he's a bowling ball.
And
like
he only
Stevenson.
had 203 attempts.
Yeah.
And that was 15th in the NFL. He led the NFL in those broken tackles. He was still up there in some production, yards per carry. So Javonte Williams, fast guy. I'm putting him number 5.
That's cool.
In the NFL.
That's cool. Again, I'm not ready to put him there yet, but I do like him a lot. And I do think he's the type of guy that, like you say, and you're projecting a little bit. I wouldn't say you're crazy maybe if we got to the end of the year and he was one of the 5 or 6 leading rushers in football. I don't look at him and go, oh, wow, there's something about his game I don't like. He's kind of got it all. There's no doubt. And I guess it's just one of those where I'd like to see a little bit more before I put him over some of these other guys that I know who they are, I know what they are, and I know what they're capable of. But, yeah, I like it. I like where your head's at with this so far.
Right, a little more projection
That's
on
good
that
you're not going like me. I'm glad you're not doing that.
Now we'll probably get a little more alike as we get up here into the top 4. Your number 4 running back of 2022.
Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook, where I'm going here. I mean, Cook is arguably – nobody hits the hole faster than Dalvin Cook. Nobody can go 0 to 60 and get up to the line of scrimmage and go through a hole quicker than he is. He's maybe the best in all of football when it comes to that. So that's where he's special. He plays bigger than his actual size. It's also one of his negatives. Yeah, he's not going to be a guy that necessarily going to run over a defensive tackle or push the pile on a 3rd and 2 situation or, take on a linebacker and always win that battle and fall forward for 3 or 4 more yards. That's not what he is. But he's in the conversation, I think, for one of the best in-space running backs of all of football. And if he does have any space or a gap, I mean, man, he can break your ankles or turn on the afterburners and outrun you, let alone another guy that I think is really kind of good in the pass game. It's just, they're trying to take a little wear and tear. They go, oh, we got Madison, we got other guys. Let's not just kill this guy all the time. I mean, he can do it though. He really can. You see enough on film to see it. But yeah, for Dalvin Cook, I think is, where I might have said, he's clearly top 4 for me, clearly. And I get the feeling that he's definitely going to be in your top 4 as well.
He is not.
Whoa.
So he was if you're looking at my sheet, he is the honorable mention.
Okay.
He was the last one out.
Right.
I actually put Stevenson just ahead of Cook at the last second.
Okay.
I had Cook in there.
All right.
I love Dalvin Cook.
Yeah.
When he's healthy, one of the most explosive guys out there. And he actually has been pretty healthy.
He has. That's what people don't realize. Other than his rookie year, right?
Yep. So rookie year, he only played 4 games. 2018, he played 10.
Okay.
So that's half the year. That's not great.
Yeah.
But then it's 14 games, then last year 13 games.
Yeah.
So he's not playing the full 16, but 14, 13, still pretty
That's
good.
That's pretty good for that kind of
a
guy.
Position. Yeah,
and a team that runs the ball a lot too.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I just left him off. I think maybe I should put him back on.
Yeah.
You're
definitely as we just talked right there. No. You should be on. He should be on there, but that's cool. Don't worry.
No,
it's too late though. So who's your 4?
No, I had a point though. There was another point why I left him off.
Okay, maybe smaller. Maybe you're projecting this is the year he falls off.
Oh no, here's what it was.
Yeah.
Here's put this in there, Pete. Make sure this gets in there. So we talked to our friend Jay Croucher, who is someone that we talk to from time to time,
right?
Who's into the odds world and the betting world, and he would say, and he told us last year, and this stuck with me, that when he was injured and when he would go out, they would not adjust the line for the Minnesota Vikings. Now that speaks to how good Madison is, his backup.
Sure.
And I think that's the case for a lot of running backs out there. Not every running back, but a lot of running backs out there. But if he doesn't affect the line of the game when he's not in there, maybe he's not a top 6 running back.
I hear what you say. I'm not going to go by Vegas on that one all the way either. I mean, you can't fault him for the fact that, oh, wait, they're a good running football team and their backup is also good.
That's true.
So that's where I would just argue against that a little bit. But I understand what you're saying. All right. You're saying, they don't necessarily ride him and him being the ultimate difference of whether win or lose.
Yeah, like they've had games where they've been able to run the ball just fine without him.
Yeah. Well, let's not forget, Alexander Madison's a starting NFL running back. He's starting for, at least 15 other teams in football. He's just stuck on a team with a guy that's really good.
All right, so number 4.
Who's your 4?
So my number 4 is Christian McCaffrey.
Okay.
So I did put Christian McCaffrey in my top 6.
Yeah.
Kind of the same thing too, because we're just talking with Dalvin Cook. The last 2 years have been awful for him, and we went through it with Pete in 2020: high ankle sprain, shoulder AC joint sprain, thigh strain, hamstring strain in 2021, ankle sprain. It's like strains and sprains up and down the list the last couple of years.
Yep.
But in his first 3 seasons, he played all 16 games.
I know.
It really has been the last 2 years, and now has he worn down? Has he lost a step? Like you said,
that just worries me. Right.
That's the question. It's like he was durable in the beginning of his NFL career,
and even in Stanford. I mean, he was.
And Stanford.
Yeah.
Will we see it again? I don't know. The last 2 years have been awful. 3 games 2 years ago. 7 games just passed.
Right.
Or was it? Yeah,
it was 7
last
year. Yeah, it was 7. It really wasn't 7. He kind of tried to come back for 1 or 2 and wasn't the same. It was almost 5, really.
So I'm going to bank healthy, and if he's healthy, and when he has played healthy, he's been unbelievable.
No doubt.
If you were to know Christian McCaffrey is going to play all 16 games,
Would
he be in your top 6?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, he is in my top 6. He'd be in my top.
I'm sorry.
He'd probably be. Yeah. He'd be more of my top 4-ish maybe if that was the consideration. But it's a real concern for me. It really is. I root for him. I mean, damn, his dad was a teammate of my father. I know how awesome Christian is as a guy. I've been around him a few times. I know how he works. He's obsessed. Everything. There's nothing not to like about Christian McCaffrey. But, yes, his size and injury history here the last 2 years, that's what scares me.
And I said if he played all 16 games.
Right. There's 17 now.
I know.
I know.
But I'm assuming just to rest.
Yeah.
Before they're the 1 seed,
well,
they're resting them that last
maybe
week.
Their offensive line, it should be a little bit better this year too, where maybe it helps him out a little bit as well. And I think they're going to be in a better offense and hopefully have some better quarterback play, which will make life a little easier on him as well.
The top 3 we've made it into. Number 3 for you.
Derrick Henry is number 3 for me.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. Yep. I couldn't put him 1 or 2. And really the film kind of told me that. I know how awesome Derrick Henry is. I know. This is where I almost want to reveal 1 and 2 just to tell you why I think they're better, but we'll get to that in a second. I mean, hey, he's a powerhouse. I get that. Great size. When he gets up a full head of steam, he can push the pile as good as anybody in the game.
He's a freak. There might be nothing quite like him in NFL history.
I would agree with that. There's not. When there's a seam and something there, man, he can break an 80-yarder as good as anybody in the game. So that stuff is really good. But I think where I look at him and where I don't think he stacks up against the guys in the top 2 is short area spaces when there's nothing there. That's what I think when you go back and watch the film, all right, like with a guy like Derrick Henry, there is a lot of underwhelming runs. That's what we forget. He gets the ball a lot. And to that point, let me just Derrick Henry only got the ball 9 times less than Nick Chubb did last year. And you got that? Derrick Henry played 9 games, right? Nick Chubb got the ball 9 times more, okay, and played 5 more games, all right? Also rushed for over 300 yards more so I don't think Derrick Henry was going to get 9 carries for 300 yards. But either way, what I'm trying to say is they ride him hard. I know that, and there's value to that as well. But, man, there's also a lot of runs that I look at, and I just would go, man, my top 2 guys would have weaved through there or, ran up to the line of scrimmage and gone, oh, wait, nothing's there, and then been able to bounce it or make a cut. And so many of those runs are where Derrick Henry – because he's bigger, he's a little bit more of a build-up speed type of guy, he gets stuck in that. Somebody just tackles him and he goes down by the ankles. Or, hey, the pulling guard play where you got to read the guard behind it and, make a cut this way, make a cut that way, make a cut this way, break an arm tackle and then turn it back on. To me, that's where he is noticeably less than the 2 guys I'm going to have in front of him. So that's why I made him 3. Wasn't easy to do. I know how awesome he is.
He's great. But I was looking back, and he's been so good at this second half of seasons, too. The past 3 years, he was hurt last year, but the 2 years before that, it was like once we got to November, he just dominated the NFL,
right.
Even more so than he had up to that point. I looked, though, at his last 3 playoff games. Dating back to 2019, he's been contained. Against Kansas City in 2019, 19 rushes, 69 yards. 2020 versus Baltimore, 18 rushes, 40 yards. 2021, just this last year against the Bengals, 20 rushes, 62 yards. That's the last 3 playoffs.
There's 3 good D linemen, 3 good D lines we're talking about, 3 D lines that to me is going back to the point I'm trying to say. They never let him get going. It was, no, you're going to have to stop and then redo. Stop and restart. Stop and reaccelerate. And to me, that's not his game. When it's there's a hole and he can gather speed and get through that hole for at least 3 or 4 yards into it and hit that top end speed, then you better watch the out because he's going to do some damage. He might go 90 or 99 to the house. He might run over 4 people and do that. But the problem is when there's a play where he has to slow down or stop or wait, I got to stop and cut back, that to me is not where he stacks up against the top 2. And to me, that's what those defenses kind of did. They kind of said, we're going to shoot gaps and we're going to make you adjust or redirect your body to go somewhere else, and that's not his game there. That's not what he is made for. And to me, that's just why he's number 3 to me. And again, that doesn't come easily. I got a tremendous respect for this guy.
So I almost did the same thing as you, and you're convincing me that maybe I should have done that.
Right.
But I had Derrick Henry at number 2.
Okay.
So he's my number 2, and my number 3, I think maybe you're number 2, but maybe he's your number 1. I don't know. Number 3 for me was Nick Chubb.
Yeah,
is he your number 2?
He's my number 2.
Okay, go for it. Tell me about it.
And Nick Chubb is that guy. Nick Chubb to me has more versatility in the running schemes you can run with him because he's got a little more some different things he can do. Nick Chubb in those tight spaces, short areas, is able to, redirect, cut, accelerate just at a better rate to me than Derrick Henry. He's capable of doing more with less, is what I'm saying. And again, I know Derrick Henry's the man. Again, this is what's the worst part about doing these lists. It's not easy. But, this is a guy that's, really is. He's 4 yards away from running for over 1,000 yards 4 years in a row. His rookie year, he got 996 yards. I mean, every year he averages over 5 yards per carry. Don't blame Nick Chubb because they have another good running back or 2 good running backs, and they're not going to just run him into the ground maybe like Tennessee is going to do with Derrick Henry.
Really good offensive line they have.
They do. But Tennessee certainly, his offensive line ain't no pushover either.
Sure.
I mean, it's really damn good as well. So, but I understand what you're saying. But to me, that's the difference. It's the plays. It's up the middle. He can hit the hole faster than Derrick Henry. It's the plays where he hits the hole and now he's got to stop in the hole and redirect and make a linebacker miss. He's better in that department. He can reaccelerate better. And honestly, I think in those situations too, breaks more tackles than Derrick Henry as well. So that's where, Nick Chubb to me. Yeah, I mean, Nick Chubb is the 1 and 2 were to me 1 and 2. I will say, if I almost had a little bit of a tier there, where I think yes, at this point of their careers, 1 and 2 are a little bit above King Henry, who again I love.
And you don't think of Nick Chubb necessarily as a bruiser. He's 5'11", 227. He's listed at 4th most broken tackles per attempt in the NFL last year, so he's running over some dudes
legs and
out
ass
there.
for days, Ahmed.
And he's got the 2nd most yards after contact per rush in the NFL.
That's okay. So great. I'm glad you're adding that to my argument. It's very apparent. It's one of those where if you just look at stats, you'd go, oh wait, hey, Henry's clearly better. He might be better, but man, it was one of those where. I turned on the film and started watching carry after carry, and I just started going, oh, my gosh, Nick Chubb. I mean, some of these runs are insane. I mean, they really are. And, again, he's a guy, too, like Henry, who we know, he can push the pile and do all that, but he can go 70 to the house. But where I think he's different, and I give him the advantage again, is that run where, Derrick Henry might get 6 or 8. Nick Chubb can maybe, put on the brakes, lower the shoulder, make a cut, and run through the arm tackle while he's putting on the brakes, stay low to the ground because he is 5'11", 230 pounds, and his legs, and he's so dense and muscular, and then he can get an extra 10 yards. And that, to me, is where he's just a little different maybe than the King Henry is.
So Nick Chubb, number 2 for you, number 3 for me, but I could be convinced. But the number 1 is the same for both of us.
It is, no doubt.
Led the NFL in rushing last year.
He's the man right now. Jonathan Taylor's the man. All these guys have very good vision. I do think that Jonathan Taylor, Nick Chubb, and Dalvin Cook's vision are the best of all these running backs we're talking about. I mean, Jonathan Taylor and Chubb, and Jonathan Taylor especially, to me, this is where he made a big jump from year 1 to year 2, is his ability to see the hole, see the next cut, and then to get some more tough yards every now and then. In year 1, I felt like there were some plays where I go, hey, come on, Jonathan Taylor, just lower your shoulder and smash it in there and get 4 yards. And he might have been looking for the bounce out or the big play or whatever. Last year, he did that. He was special last year. Really, when you kind of go back and watch it, you go, man, if the Colts ran the ball early in the year, he would have got 2,000 yards. They wouldn't run the ball the first 4 or 5 weeks of the year. They wouldn't do it. And if you remember about week 10 or 12, what was the theme they had out there? They kept saying, like, run the ball or run the rock, or they had something to say because they were finally getting into it going, damn, he's good, and this is the way we should play our team. Forget letting Carson Wentz drop back and try to win it all the time. I think it was a noticeable difference in their football team when they let him take over. But like Nick Chubb, and this I think to a greater extent, it's rare where, run people over for tough 5 yards, break ankles for tough 5 yards. Oh, wait, he can break for 90 and nobody can catch him? Like, he's really good, and he's better in the pass game than people want to give him credit to. I mean, look at the Ravens game. He catches a swing pass out of the backfield, runs for 80 yards. Again, he's another guy that, hey, we have other guys, so we're going to use Nyheim Hines to catch the ball, take some wear and tear off. But I think all these guys could be a little bit better in the pass game if they were just given the opportunities. But, yeah, I think we're both on the same page here, and he's clearly my one.
He is my one as well. He led the NFL in yards per catch.
There you go. So that might be a role you start to see.
Yeah.
I don't even know how many catches did he have in the year.
He had a few. I think he had like
more than people think, right?
40, I think, right? Let me look at that. Yeah, he had 40 for 360. Of course, the yards per catch has helped when you tear off a long one like that. But Next Gen Stats, they have the fastest ball carriers, right?
Yeah.
He was first, he was fourth, and he was fifth.
Yeah.
In the NFL last regular season.
Yeah. And what's his size and weight? What's he, 5'11", 227?
226.
Yeah, that's the that to me is the Chris Simms prototypical running back.
Well, so he's got the speed.
Yeah.
And he also has the brute strength. As you mentioned, you saw more of it last year.
Right.
He was third in yards after contact per attempt last year.
Yeah.
And, that rush over-expected. The rushes over-expected. He was fourth in the NFL, so he was getting more yards than expected over half the time.
It pops off to you more, because sometimes when the season's over, we just think about, like, the highlights and some of the big runs, and some of those plays are just like, oh, yeah, there was a hole and he outran everybody. Like, but I think that's the thing that I came away from when I went back and watched was, like, how many times he, went through the hole, made somebody miss, kind of broke up the sidelines, and you go, oh, he's going to get pushed out of bounds here, or, he's about to go down. And then he makes a move or a cut or lowers the shoulder, and you go, holy shit, he got 25 more yards after that. And that, to me, was where it was, or just runs up the middle where he's kind of dancing and picking his spot and kind of weaving through traffic. And you go, oh, okay. And then, boom, he hits on the gas. And you go, holy shit, I thought he was going to get 12 yards there. He got 45. And to me, that's where he's the best in the game right now. An incredible combination of that. And I think that's why they're both, to me, the best in the game. And I think maybe I changed your mind as far as Chubb to Taylor. That body type, their way to be physical, they're a little bit more explosive, their acceleration is better, and because they're 5'11" and so compact, their ability to kind of take on hits and things and bounce off of them give them a little bit more of an advantage than a guy like Derrick Henry who's, a little bit more taller and longer like.
I still think it'd be tough for me if I was on the clock and someone said, yeah, Derrick Henry is healthy. He's fine. He checks out.
I know.
And you're like,
I hear
do you want Derrick? I'll take Derrick Henry.
I know.
Maybe not over Jonathan Taylor because I think he's got the whole package right now, but over Chubb and some of the other guys still. But there's your top 6 running backs out there. So it was about time we made more people angry with another list.
It's been a whole
out
3
there.
days.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.